deal with acne and redness and scarring and all those things, just troubled skin basically. And it's really, really bad right now. I have really troubled breakout skin. I need to go visit my dermatologist. Something is just really bad. But this is the routine that I use when I do have just terrible skin and I really want it to cover, because nothing is worse than feeling self-conscious about your acne. I totally understand that. I've struggled with that. I still do. I thought I'd hopefully be done with it by this age, but I guess not yet. So anyways, these are some tricks that I've learned that I've been using for years that really help me just still feel great when I go out, and then I'm not just constantly like, oh my gosh, are they staring at my acne? It's so bad, you know. So anyway, I hope that some of these help you, and I hope that they help make you feel beautiful. But always remember that it's not makeup that makes a person beautiful, but it certainly can help you feel a little bit better about yourself. So just remember, it's something to play with, have fun with, but you don't have to wear it. You don't need it. Anyways, I hope some of these tips have helped you. Thank you so much for watching, and we can go ahead and get started. Thanks. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to start off like normal. So I've already, I've like washed my face this morning, and then for a moisturizer, I have been using a sunscreen like specifically made for your face. And I was told to do this by the esthetician that I went to because it helps like protect your skin, not just from the sun, but also from like the environment and just kind of the gross things in the air and that type of thing. So, because she said, do you use sunscreen every day? And I just said, oh, like just what's in the makeup. And she says, no, make sure you're using a real sunscreen. So I do have a sunscreen. I think it's just like Neutrogena or whatever, like one that's specifically made for your face. So I've already put that on. The next thing I'm gonna put on is this e.l.f. Under Eye Hydrating Primer. And this will just help your concealer look really good. I'm going to go ahead and put this on my ring finger. Just put it all around the eye area. When you're trying to like cover acne, and I mean I've just got really a lot going on, you really want to take the time and do kind of the extra steps before you even do your foundation. So make sure that you're really moisturized and you're like starting off the absolute best base that you can, and that's going to be one of the key important steps to covering up your acne. So like I said, I've started off with my moisturizer. I did an under eye primer. Next, I'm going to go in with, I've talked about this before, this is the Nivea Men's Sensitive Skin Cooling Post-Shave Balm. And this is just really going to help your foundation stick to your skin. So I'm just putting a little bit on my hands. And you want to rub it until it just kind of gets like tacky. I also like to go in with a makeup primer, so I'm going to go in with this e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. I'm just going to put like one pump on my hands, and I like to just mostly put this on my cheeks, because sometimes I feel like if I put it in like my nose and that kind of area, it kind of gets too oily or something. So I kind of just put this on like the outer edges of my cheeks, and this will just help your foundation smooth on really, really nicely. Okay, and then the last thing before I start my foundation is I like to go in with a setting spray and put some on before I even go in with makeup. And again, that just will really help the makeup stay. So just shake one up. Just give it a few squirts and then wait for that to dry for just a minute. Okay, so we've given that just a second to dry. So when I'm really dealing with bad skin like I am right now, just like a terrible breakout, or I don't know what, I need to go visit my dermatologist. But the way that I cover it is I first start off with a really heavy duty concealer before I even go in with foundation. So I'm going to be using, this is the absolute one of the most top coverage concealers you'll find. It's really affordable. You can pick it up right at Walmart. It's the Hard Candy Glamouflage Heavy Duty Concealer. And it's really, really thick, so I'm going to put some on my hand. And then I'm going to go in with this really dense kabuki brush. And I'm just going to like heavily concentrate this just right on the redness and right all over the areas that just really need a lot of extra coverage. And I do this so that if you just go straight in with a foundation to cover everything, you'll end up with just like too much foundation. It'll be cakey, and so you really want to avoid putting on like just as much foundation as you can possibly get on. So that's why I kind of go in with just a really like high pigmented concealer first. Just really put that on the areas that I need it the most. And as you can see, I mean, that really took away a lot of that redness. And then as there's kind of like less and less on the brush, then you can just kind of blend it out a little bit everywhere. So then the next is I'm going to go in with this, the Hard Candy Glamouflage Foundation. Again, this is just a really heavy duty foundation. Another really good option though is the e.l.f. What is this? Oh, it's actually rubbing off, but it's the Acne Fighting Foundation. And it's a really, really thick one as well. And it's really affordable too. And actually I'm probably gonna mix these. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this one mixed with a little bit of my hard candy one, which I'm almost out of. There we go. And just make a little cocktail on my hand. And then I'll just kind of rub those together with my finger. Another key tip is to make sure that you're working with clean hands. So wash your hands right before you put on your makeup, and that'll really help too, kind of to not spread more bacteria. And also clean your brushes frequently too. Okay, so I've got that little cocktail on my hand mixed together, and I'm just gonna go in with this brush and just kind of apply this everywhere. The biggest difference between a foundation and a concealer, like the reason that I go in with an actual foundation and not just a concealer, is concealers are really just meant for like high coverage. I mean, that's kind of their main goal, is covering things. But a foundation is really meant to like last a long time and to give you the most flawless finish on your skin and that type of thing. Whereas concealer, it mostly has just a really high pigmentation. That's kind of its main purpose. And so that's why it's kind of important to go in with a foundation instead of only a concealer. And also be really gentle when you're buffing this into your skin, because if you buff it in too rough, it'll irritate even more those already kind of irritated places. So just be really gentle about it, but you do want to make sure that you are going in like with this motion, like the dabbing kind of stippling motion, because if you're just rubbing it around, like rubbing it, it's not gonna cover, it's just gonna kind of smear it around your face. Whereas when you're covering something, you really want to like press this into your skin. Okay, if there's still something in this point that needs covering, then you can go in with another thicker concealer. This is the NYX Above and Beyond Full Coverage Concealer, and this one comes in like a little pot like this. And you can just dab this onto the areas that need it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and conceal under my eyes. I'm going to use just this lighter CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous concealer. Grabbing my Real Techniques sponge and just being really gentle, I'm just going to gently blend that out. And at this point, there's a lot of product that's on your face. So to pick up the excess, you want to grab this sponge. This is a dampened sponge, by the way. And you want to just kind of really, again, just really gently kind of go over your whole face with it. And just kind of let it pick up the excess product. The reason that I don't put on foundation with this when I'm really dealing with bad skin is that you'll get a lot less coverage with this sponge than you will with a makeup brush. So I kind of like to go in, get the most coverage that I can with the brush, and then kind of just blend everything in, press this into my skin with this sponge. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bake under my eyes. I talked about this method in I want to say my most recent foundation routine that I put up. And basically what that is you just put a lot of like excess powder right underneath your eyes to set it, and then you kind of sweep away the extra. To do this, I usually always use my Coty Airspun loose powder to bake under my eyes, but I'm going to try today this e.l.f. High Definition Powder. It comes in the thing like this. I just have some in the lid right now. But this is just like the translucent powder, but I'm just going to try it and see if I like it. This is a really nice powder. It's like really, really finely milled. But I guess the true test will be when I sweep it off and kind of see how well it sets it. Okay, so while I'm gonna let that sit there for just while I do that, I want to set the rest of my face. Okay, this is a huge key important step when you are dealing with bad skin. Powder is going to be your best friend, your most important tool in this whole process. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me matte and poreless powder. Any kind of face powder will work, or even a powder foundation when you're trying to get a lot of coverage. Just find one that you like. And then you're gonna want a sponge for this. So you can use like the one that it came with, or if you have your own, whatever. But then what you wanna do is get some on your sponge, and you wanna just really dab and roll it right on those really bad spots. This is gonna give you so much coverage. This is gonna even out everything. You don't just wanna set your face right now like with a big fluffy brush, because that will get rid of like all that like extra precise little spots that you put that concealer. So you just really want to pat it in. So at least on just like your worst parts that you want to do this to. And again, you don't ever want to like rub it, you want to just press it right into your skin. Okay, that was kind of my bad spot. So now I'm going to go in with my bigger, fluffier brush, get some of that powder on it, and kind of set everywhere else. Okay, and I want to sweep this off, so I guess we'll see how it does. But I always like to sweep it off with a little something on my brush. So I'm just going to grab this Jordana kind of yellow toned pressed powder, put a little bit on my brush. Wow, I actually really like that. That made that whole area just look really like flawless and poreless. Well, I'm gonna have to start using that more. I really quite like that. And then since more is more, just you can put a little extra powder on everywhere else too. Okay, so the next step at this point, you want to go in again with your setting powder, or your setting spray. So whatever one you're using, I'm just going to use this Icing Oil Control Makeup Setting Spray. e.l.f. makes one, NYX makes one, actually Maybelline and L'Oreal make one now, so you can get them anywhere. And just go ahead and spray. And you want to really let that just really get dry for a while. So what I'm going to do, and as you've noticed, I've not bronzed or done anything else. I've just kind of done like my foundation, powder, concealing. So I'm going to, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to go ahead and do my eyes, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back with eye makeup, and that whole time I didn't touch my face. I tried to just really let that setting spray just like sink in, do its job, kind of mesh everything together, all those products together, and really do their job. So now I want to finish up with kind of some bronzing, contouring, that type of thing. So a huge important step for when you're dealing with acne is you don't want to use any shimmery products on your face, or else it's really going to just accentuate that and highlight it and bring it out. So a really good bronzer is this one by Icing that you can just get like in the mall at the Icing store, and this is the matte bronzer. I love their bronzers. They're really like natural kind of shades, and then I'm just using a fluffy brush. This is the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe brush, number 4. And you're just going to want to really be gentle when you're doing this, more gentle than other days. And just kind of put some of that along your cheeks. I kind of do a little bit of like the dabbing, and I do a little bit of kind of just like blending in a circular motion. But just whatever you do, just use a really soft, light pressure, so that you don't disrupt that hard work that we put into our foundation. Okay, so then I'm going to contour a little bit. I got this contour kit just like at TJ Maxx for really cheap, but I really love that darker color. Again, it's totally matte, no shimmer, and then I'm going to use my NARS Ita brush and just kind of carve out my cheekbones just a little bit. Give them a little bit more definition. So I kind of go in first with like a harsh-ish line. Get rid of that double chin. Create a little jawline. So then I kind of go, after I've done my contouring a little bit, I just kind of go in and blend things out with that original kind of bronzing brush. Okay, I'm going to add a little blush. This is one of my absolute favorite blushes. I've talked about it a ton, especially for when I'm dealing with acne. This is the Milani Flower Blush, and it's in the color Romantic Rose. And again, there's no sparkle, no shimmer, anything. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on. And then this kind of really blends everything together. This like really blends out my contour and my bronzing. So that's why I really like blush. And again, I'm just using a really, really gentle, soft pressured hand. Okay, when you're dealing with bad skin, you want to be really careful with when you highlight. So when I am dealing with bad skin, I like to highlight my nose, which I'm not having like breakouts on it. So I always like to highlight kind of the tip of my nose. This is totally optional, these steps, by the way. This doesn't really have anything to do with covering acne, but just don't highlight any of the areas that you're having your acne issues. So like my acne was mainly down along that area. So I am gonna highlight a little bit up on my cheekbones. Okay, so then once everything is done, then you're gonna go ahead and go back in with a setting spray one last time. And that is my complete acne covering routine. Doing all those different steps, I know it seems like a lot, but that's how you can really ensure that A, your acne will be covered, and B, that all those products, I mean, I'll admit there's tons of products on my face right now, but those are not gonna budge because of the different steps that I showed you, the different little things that I did. Like I said, it seems like a lot, but you don't wanna be worrying about, I mean, when you're wearing that many products on your face, you don't wanna be worrying about them sloughing off or getting, rubbing off, anything like that during the day, or else you'll just be really self-conscious about it. When you're already self-conscious because you have acne, you don't want to be self-conscious about your makeup too. So anyways, I hope those tips have helped, and I hope that you maybe have learned something from this video, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!